Banties, boy, do we have a treat for you today. It's Halo, joined by my BFF1.
Say, Samu, that was good. Do we have a treat for you?
It's a treat.
This
This is one of our favorite interviews to date. Um,
it is.
you guys will see why. This athlete is just a ray of sunshine,
Yeah.
so genuine, so authentic, and has a lot of really good just advice and
Mm,
things to share from her wisdom dominating college softball. So
yeah. It was we were so excited. We like couldn't believe that it was gonna happen, and then it happened, and we're still freaking out a little bit, I think.
we're still freaking out a little bit. So
So
you guys enjoy Karlyn freaking Pickens. All right, what is up, Bantees? It's Halo and Sam, and we are back with a guest that we are extremely excited about.
yeah.
I'm just gonna read off the laundry list of accolades that have accumulated for our special guest today. So she was three-time SEC Freshman of the Week. She was on the 2022-2023 SEC First Year Honor Roll, so she's smart as
She's smart.
well. She was 2023 All SEC second team. She was the 2023 SEC Freshman of the Year. She was
Mm.
2024 All SEC first team, a 2024 consensus first team All American, and the 2024 Pitcher of the Year. She also just beat Oklahoma twice, and she throws the ball 78 miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the program, welcome Karlyn Pickens.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I'm super
Oh
excited.
my gosh. I
I
can't
am so
even I think I have to start from the top. Like, what was it like playing at OU this weekend and beating them? That was
Yeah,
insane.
it was intense. It was very intense. I was talking to some teammates too, like being at the World Series my freshman year was like a cakewalk fan wise compared to OU. Like it was insane. Their fan base is incredible. But yeah, it was very much a team win. You know, we had a little bit of a rough start of our season, so to get that was it
Mhm.
was incredible, and they're a great team, so a fight all the way through.
Yeah, it was, I mean, Halo and I were talking about it earlier. We were just on the edge of our seats the whole time. And
The whole time.
what's crazy about Tennessee, Oklahoma is obviously now you guys are in the same conference, but there's like a history there with Tennessee, Oklahoma going back, to the World Series and in postseason and stuff. And like it's pretty neck and neck. And so you guys to come out on top, I mean, that was so fun. But I think we really want, before we dig into the nitty gritty, we just want to know what that pitch felt like coming out of your hand. Yeah.
Honestly.
Did you
Yeah, and
know? Did
yeah,
you
like I
know?
don't ever really like think like, oh, that one felt like I know when a pitch feels good, but like I'm never like, oh, that was 78. Like I throw kind of around there like quite frequently, 76, 77.
Yeah.
So when I threw that pitch, I wasn't for sure. It did hit the backstop, so I was like, that had a little extra umph on it, but wasn't for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That
When you
was
see
yeah.
when you see your catcher who catches you all the time get surprised, that's when I was
Right.
like, yeah, that was a little
That
zippy.
was different. That was different.
That was gas.
The pipeline to the women's national team.
HPP has helped me find a new identity in like who I am as a player. It's helped show how hard work pays off, and it's really got me excited for the future of our game, the future for me, the future for my fellow athletes, and for what I strive to do in the future in college and then potentially with USA softball in the future.
Have you always thrown hard, or is that something that like when you were coming up in travel ball, like is it something you like consistently worked on? Can you take us through a little bit of like your developmental process, because I am
Yeah.
just so intrigued.
Yeah, I always threw hard when I was younger. Like my dad used to compare me to like having a fire hose as an arm. So throwing hard is
That's
always kind of
accurate.
just my thing. I struggled with command issues when I was younger though, because I threw so hard. So
Mhm.
kind of having to reel it back a little bit to work on hitting spots before I could really
Mhm.
unleash was kind of like a step in my journey as a pitcher. But yeah, now it's just all gas, no brakes.
What's something that helped you with that command? Because I think I see that a lot in like in terms of young pitchers that have like that natural God-given ability that you have. Would you give them any advice like when it comes to that command stuff? Because we're hitters here, like we have no idea how that even like
Not a clue.
works.
Yeah, I will say just like from a body standpoint, when I was younger, I was very long, skinny, baby giraffe-esque. Like didn't have a whole lot of control of the limbs. So I would say like as I got older, grew into my body a little bit, it did get easier. So I think just like, doing your drills, of course, but also knowing that it's going to get easier to control your body when you're working and constantly doing that and just maturing as well.
Oh.
I think
Don't
that's
rush it. I love that.
yeah,
Just
because
be
it's such
wild.
an awesome.
Embrace the wildness.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Don't be afraid to
scarier.
hit the bat stuff. I mean, I still do it. So
Period.
And break a record. I think it's so interesting because we've seen it, through growing up and seeing different players that like being wild can sometimes be very effective. Like you've heard the phrase like being effectively wild, right? But I actually got to watch you pitch in person in Palm Springs, which it was great. I had a great time.
thank you.
And you can tell your control is for someone who throws that hard, your control, you can tell that that's something that you've maybe emphasized in your training.
Yeah, for sure. And I've noticed with myself personally in games that, I have better control of my hard stuff. It just sets up my other pitches better as well. So that's kind of, it's a little bit of like a confidence boost whenever like, oh yeah, the hard stuff, I know exactly where that's going. So it sets everything up else for success too.
I believe it.
Is it wild to have an off speed that's like as hard as some people's fastball? Is that not crazy?
It is kind of a joke in our bullpen. Like some of the girls be like, your changeup is almost as hard as my fastball. But yeah, I mean, it's just the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. Well, you're also like your stride is like you're halfway to the plate by the time you release the ball too. So that doesn't hurt. But that's so insane to me. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Halfway to the plate. It's real.
It is.
I would love to know because I think that we're in a world and we're in a time where everybody voices their opinion 24/7 and they put it out there publicly for people to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if since breaking the record or even since hitting 77 and tying the record, how have you dealt mentally with things of like, wow, like, do you feel like you have an added pressure, or to the people who say like, oh, there's no way that she hit that, like the gun must be hot. Like, I would love to hear you walk through maybe the mental side of all this.
Yeah, I would say like the best way to go about it is just to have a sense of humor. I know that like this is something I've worked towards. So you can scroll on Instagram and you can take the good with the bad and laugh at the little 10-year-old boys that are saying that they'll take you 400 like and it's kind of funny when you think about it because we as pitchers like we devote a lot to our sport and what we do, and hitters as well. So to kind of see that and see the publicity that it's getting, but also just not getting so wrapped up in it that's defining you. I just kind of take it how it is and laugh at the things that are, maybe a little more negative.
I love that. Halo and I laugh at everything. So like you're speaking,
you really are. You really are. It's so, I'm curious too. You mentioned your command and like working on that. It's a very difficult thing to do when you throw so hard. Another Tennessee pitcher that Sam and I had the pleasure is the wrong word of hitting off of was Monica Abbott, who she also threw extremely hard, but she was able to like pinpoint her locations. And I just love that you guys both went to Tennessee. Like that's so cool and so like such a small world thing. Have you talked to Monica at all? Like is she around? Like what's it been like if you have spoken with her, and has she given you any advice?
Yeah, me and Monica are super close. I helped work her camp this past summer, so gotten to build that relationship. She's definitely been quite the mentor for me, just kind of helping me find some opportunities with stuff, and then always just being somebody I could call and text, like after a bad game or whatever it be. Just, I could pick up the phone and talk to her whenever. So yeah, super thankful for that relationship.
Oh, she is pretty great. Yeah, she's
very full
great.
circle moment for sure.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I would love to know, like, especially now as a junior, you know, you're an upperclassman now, you have more experience. Tennessee's doing great. Like, do you feel that you carry some of that on, like, as far as being a leader on the team, or feel like you need to kind of help people come with you? Like, how does that function within Tennessee?
Yeah, I would say for sure. Karen talks a lot about just having leadership qualities, not just a certain few people, but everybody on the team bringing something. And so I think now that I'm a junior, there's only me and Charlie are the only juniors on the pitching staff. So having to step into that role and kind of help the little ones come into the light a little bit. I guess it's a kind of a bad way to put it, but just being a mentor, being somebody that they can talk to about anything, softball related or not, and just kind of leading by example. I think a main thing for me that Ashley Rogers taught me was she was just so adamant about playing freely. She spent a lot of her years here
Oh,
kind of playing with too much pressure on herself. And my freshman year, she was very vulnerable, telling us that, she regretted putting all that pressure on herself, trying to be perfect. So I think that's something that I want to imitate and just play freely, have fun with the game, and don't make it bigger than it is. So I hope that I'm translating that onto our younger classmen as well.
yeah,
Translating
that's
it on us.
yeah, no, for sure. Well, that's
Sweet.
something that you can see too. Like, it's just in watching you and being a fan of yours. It's something that I've noticed this year is your emotion. I think you've always been like an emotional pitcher, but I think this year especially you've been like really fired up. Like after you got the last out against Oklahoma this weekend, I was like ready to run through the TV. Like I was like so fired up, like just so fired up for you. And I love a pitcher that shows emotion like
Yeah.
that. I'm curious, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but like this weekend specifically, you mentioned you guys struggled a little bit early in the year trying to kind of like figure out your identity. You lost some pieces last year. Coach Malveaux leaves. Um, do you think that this weekend getting that series win against Oklahoma, was that the first time that you guys really felt like, okay, this is who we are?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was just a complete energy shift. Even from, just game 2 to game 3, we kind of just like
Mhm.
embrace, you know what, we're going to go out there and we're going to celebrate everything. We're going to have the most energy in the dugout. And like, you would get in the dugout, you turn your head and be like, we are crazy. Like, and it was such a
Love
fun,
it.
just like, it was such a fun team to play for. So like, even when I'm on the mound and I'm like, pumping up, like fist pumping after a strike, like, we celebrate the little things. And I think some people might think, oh, that's too much, but it just feeds and it's contagious to our hitters and everything. So, yeah, just embracing, celebrating every little thing.
Oh,
I love it.
it makes it fun to watch. It really does. And I think what's interesting talking to you about the mindset going against Oklahoma, like obviously Oklahoma is a team that has a target on their back that everybody wants to beat them. People want to see them get beat. But you play for Tennessee. You guys have a target on your back a lot as well. So being a team that other teams are gunning for, how does the team culture deal with that? Like, does that come from the coaches? Does that come from you guys? Tell us a little bit about how that works, being on such a good team.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. Our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Yeah, I would say that it definitely comes from us players. I'd say we're definitely a player-led team. So I think just focusing on each other, not listening to any of the outside noise, that really just keeps our minds straight when it comes to competing. We're going to have tough games, we're going to have some losses, and just focusing on the mission at hand, not getting caught up in, all the negative or other people, and just focusing on us.
Yeah,
I love that so
that'll do the
much.
trick. Yeah, that'll do the
Yeah.
trick.
Yeah,
Well,
that'll work.
you've obviously been like really successful your first 3 or 2.5, I guess, in college. I'm curious, like, do you have any aspirations to play for Team USA or like in the professional leagues as you graduate? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, softball has always been like just me. Like, I love sports. I love everything about it. So playing for the Olympic team professionally, that's always been a dream of mine. So I think just, keep working hard. And I've been pretty lucky. I've worked hard. I've had goals, and, putting in the work always seems to get the right outcome for me. So I'm just going to keep trusting in that, trusting in the man upstairs, and everything will work out.
oh my
Love
God.
that. Did you play multiple sports when you were in high school?
I did. I played basketball and volleyball
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
The tall girl stuff, yeah.
The tall girl stuff, yeah, fun. Do you feel like that helped you as a pitcher at all?
Oh, 100%. I think if I could recommend anything for like young girls, it would be to play as many sports as you can. Because like playing basketball, you know, you're running all the time, you're jumping, volleyball, overhand hitting. Like, I just think it makes you more athletic. And especially with like the stigma around pitchers not being athletes, that makes me like,
Oh my God.
my blood
Yeah.
boil. Pitchers are athletes.
You do field your position very well.
Yes, you
You
do.
really do. You really do. Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah. So
That's
I
so
think
That's
funny.
important. That's super important for young people to hear. What had more velocity, your overhand hit in volleyball or your pitching?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to it. I would like to say probably my softball pitch, just because that is what I chose to do.
Okay.
We'll never.
I'm just thinking if I'm like playing on the back row and I've got to like dig one of your like spikes. I don't even know if I'm saying the right volleyball terms because I didn't play volleyball, but like I would not want to take that to the face. Just FYI. So
I do
that's
miss
that.
volleyball. That was a fun sport.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is I just like I love kind of picking your brain because you know Halo and I, now that we are retired, like we don't have to worry about facing you anymore. But I want to know.
God.
Yeah, thank God. We'll be
I
watching.
don't have to face you guys though, so.
I remember facing Monica. She threw me 3 changeups in a row, and I didn't swing at one of them.
That's bullying at that
It was
point.
it was straight. I called the
Rude.
cops.
It's just rude and
No,
inconsiderate.
it's so crazy. And then she came up after. She's like, "You were only sitting 1 speed." I'm like, "Monica, you throw 100 miles an hour. What am I supposed to do in there?" So that's what I think about watching you throw. Where I'm like, my knees would just buckle if you throw the off speed at 62. And you're like,
Right.
"What are we supposed to do?" That was just a little rant, but I would love to know what it's like to hang out with Aubrey Leech every day.
We're big Aubrey Leech fans.
Oh, I love Aubrey. She's like the most fierce, like determined person ever. Like she just gets her stuff done. She's not the most like outgoing person, but she's also like close with every single person. So I think it's really cool to see just like how much like she loves the game of softball and she like carries that everywhere she goes. So I absolutely adore her.
I'm so glad I asked. I love her so much.
Yeah, she is great. It seems like you guys as a program, I think Karen's done a really great job of this, and like Ralph when he was there too. It seems like you guys have a very strong kind of network of alumni that like want to come back and contribute to your all success. Is that something that you feel like as a current player?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even just like having my relationship with Monica, Aubrey, I mean, we have so many people. I think we're even having like an alumni mixer this weekend after one of the games. So yeah, like just people always coming back, supporting us. So it's really cool to just know that like you could look up in the stands and see past, alumni Lady Vols that are just cheering you on. So it's really cool. Yeah.
What drew you to Tennessee in the first place?
Yeah, I would say I always wanted to play for an SEC school. I grew up going to all the Tennessee camps. And then, I don't know, I just felt like home. I loved the coaching staff. I loved Knoxville. So I committed on September 1st, which was kind of crazy, but it's worked out since. And I don't know, I just felt like a calling to be here, be a Lady Vol. So
yeah. What's that saying? When you know, you know.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's really what it was.
Oh man. I would love to take it back like to when you were a kid throwing gas, just what do you say, a fire hose, right? Like
Yeah.
who was a pitcher that you looked up to? Was it Monica because of the fire hose, or was it somebody else? Like who was somebody that you idolized when you were little?
Yeah, I would say Monica for sure, just because of how fast she threw. I thought that was just incredible. I was like, I want to throw that hard one day. And then also Jenny Finch was a really big inspiration too. I liked the way she carried herself on the mound. I wanted to imitate that and, kind of be like her in a sense, blonde hair, same little vibe going on. So yeah, she was definitely inspirational for me as well as a young little softballer.
Those are good choices. Have you met Jenny?
Oh, that's amazing.
I haven't met Jenny. Actually, she coached our opposing team in the PGF All-American game back when I was in high school.
Oh my
gosh. I didn't get to meet her, and I was like staring from afar, like you're coaching my team.
Yeah, one day it's gonna happen, and she's gonna be everything that you hope she is, because she's wonderful.
Yes, she is. She
Oh,
is.
That's great.
That is for sure.
Oh,
my
man.
gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm like I'm blacking out because I'm so happy to be here, like talking to you, Carlin.
Here too.
Halo,
No, It's so good. I think it's just so refreshing, like for you to just. I think everything it's refreshing because everything that we see on TV is what you are in person, and you don't get that a lot, especially with big time athletes like yourself. So just really appreciate your genuineness and your authenticity. We don't want to take up too much more of your time, so I do like to ask one last question, and I'm really interested to hear what your answer is on this one. But if you could give any advice to, let's say, 10-year-old Carlin, like what is it and why?
I would tell 10-year-old Carlin to not let that fire inside her to like hide it. Because I think when I was younger, I was scared to be like the center of attention and, oh, everybody look at me. But like, I think I was holding back that excitement and energy. So now I've just really kind of unleashed that and just like completely dove into the celebrating and everything like that. And I think I'm better for it. So that's what I would tell 10-year-old Carlin, not to wait till you're a junior in college to do that.
Oh my God.
I love it.
That
We need
was
to hear it.
so good. Because that, at the end of the day, in so many words, it's just like, hey, Carlin, be yourself. Hey, do your thing, girl. Be you. Authentically yourself. And look at what happens because of that. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite answer ever.
So good.
Thank you for joining us, Carlin. Seriously, I think people are going to be really excited to hear your perspective, hear a little bit more inside, the world of Carlin and the 78-mile-an-hour pitch. And, it's cool to see that after something big like that happened, you went out and you still performed the way that you can perform. And I think that a lot of people can learn something from that, because when we get really high, sometimes people then chase that high or feel like everything else is maybe less than. So it was really awesome, I know, for us to watch you do that thing, throw that pitch, hit that backstop, and then go out and win the biggest series of the season. So like, we're really proud of you watching that. And so I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could share a few little words of mine. So thank you for having me.
Hey, now you're stuck with us. Now we're all going to be friends forever. So
That's it. You're in. You're a friend of the
locked.
program now.
That's all it takes. So
That's great.
Halo?
Thanks, Carlin.
Yep. Thanks, Carlin.
At this time, we would like to thank the USA Softball Store at usasoftballstore.com for our amazing gear this week. You guys can have the exact same gear that Samu and I have literally right now if you go to usasoftballstore.com. So go literally right now, and you can use code BHB15 right now and get 15% off your entire purchase. So buy a lot of stuff, get that 15%, let it all go to use. usasoftballstore.com. Again, that code is BHB15.